Episode 227 of the Love in Lebanon podcast recaps a monumental week of citywide news. Parkview Health is moving in, and the Meta project is moving forward. Director of Planning and Zoning Ben Bontrager is our guest. Ben sheds light on these two projects and updates developments around the Farmers Bank Fieldhouse and new neighborhood growth as well. This episode is packed with important information, and it starts right now.
Welcome to the Love in Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 226 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. Joe LePage here, the City of Lebanon Communications and Community Development Director. So many things are happening throughout our community, and so we went ahead and went a long distance. I texted and he came down 2 flights of stairs. Our planning director, Ben Bontrager, joins us to kind of break down some big announcements. Ben, thanks for coming down the 2 flights and sitting down in the office to chat a little bit.
Sure thing. We had to plan ahead, but we figured it out.
Absolutely. Or maybe we didn't, everybody. But anyway, a couple big announcements. And as we're recording this is one day after the announcement, and TV crews were in town talking about the Parkview Health expansion. They announced plans up in West Lafayette and now in Lebanon.
Yes.
And this is a hospital family that you may see if you go up to I-69 and near Fort Wayne and kind of see the beautiful building that's right along the interstate there. They're operating and wanting to break ground and have a couple facilities on this side of the state, and Lebanon was lucky enough to be chosen as one. Ben, this was a fast-moving deal when it came across your desk, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think we first had contact with them maybe just a few weeks ago, and it's a very fast-moving. It's obviously a very competitive market. Whether it's Parkview or other hospital systems, they're all looking at the markets around Indianapolis and elsewhere and trying to figure out where there are needs and demands for additional services. And so, yes, extremely fast-moving. And in fact, I think they'll probably move very quickly to start doing design work for that site within the next few months, so they can get under construction soon after the first of the year.
And so the highlights, everybody. It's a $150 million investment, and then overhearing some of the things the mayor was saying and looking at the press release, not as large certainly as Witham Health Services, but it's going to occupy a significant footprint, kind of near the field house and just off I-65, very similarly to I-69 type thing.
Yes, yeah, I think it's a kind of a similar model for them. They will provide a full service hospital services that you expect, obviously at a smaller scale, but they'll also bring a lot of their specialty doctors and services here, maybe fill some of the gaps that we have now, and certainly they'll also have a presence over at the field house, in the building at the field house too, with some of the ortho services you expect related to sports.
And everybody, if you've listened to this podcast very often, we've had Andy Card with Card & Associates on talking Fieldhouse. And if you go out to the Fieldhouse, there's still a spot that is vacant and that they've wanted to have some kind of sports medicine, collaborator to be able to be there, looking at local options, and now it looks like a regional one, and Parkview will occupy that space to help kind of fit that need and really kind of help out athletes, young and old, as they come to the doors of the Fieldhouse.
Yeah, they'll definitely be filling out those services that are expected out there from a sports perspective related to the Fieldhouse.
So that really levels up that whole game, pun intended, everybody, where if there's aches and sprains and hopefully not something more serious, you have experts right there on staff. I know at the Leprechauns games, trying to find trainers and things along those lines to be able to help those guys that are wanting to maybe realize NBA dreams and not having that. Boy, that'd be a shot in the arm to this whole league and things like that. And that speaks volumes for our younger adults, our younger athletes as well. To do that.
It's certainly going to build that environment you expect out there, really fill out those services that you expect, and definitely make it a better environment for those athletes that are using that facility for sure. And
running the social media for the city and posting the release and things like that, one of the comments we got was, man, they've got to do something about the road out there, because they can't put the hospital right by the field house as is, right? And so those were more or less the comments, some of the ones that we got, and that's not going to be the case. The road is going to connect there and be able to create eventually kind of a main thoroughfare kind of near the Parkview facility as well as the field house as well.
Yeah, so if you start looking at that area down there, we had always contemplated Enterprise Drive being extended easterly over to the next exit south, and so this will obviously heighten the need for that to continue there. So Enterprise Drive will be the primary east-west route through that area that will provide access to the site where Parkview's looking.
So if you've ever attended an event or had a kiddo at the field house and it's been, the 10,000 people literally that are kind of trying to access that one entry exit there and on 65, I remember, it got getting backed up on a number of occasions. This whole Parkview process will help kind of lead towards a solution or at least easing of that traffic.
Yeah, I think ultimately what you'll see is that in addition to obviously the transportation network in the field house being built out, which it's not right now, there will be additional access points on State Road 39. But what this will eventually do is allow Enterprise Drive to extend east to another interchange so that you'll have actually 2 points where people can get out of there and get back to the interstate. And so, yes, it'll definitely alleviate a lot of some of those traffic issues we're seeing right now.
Certainly 2 points of entry better than 1.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this kind of adds to, and early on in the Fieldhouse project, and Ben, you're involved with that, the kind of laying out of how that whole kind of campus near the Fieldhouse was going to lay out. That this goes along with an announcement of the hotel that's going to be there. The folks that are building the Gateway Marketplace Hotel are also doing hotel kind of in that Fieldhouse area.
Correct.
Is this kind of what you were hoping and expecting with the Hickory Cottages there as well, a place to live and possibly even some places to shop and do some things like that, places to eat near the Fieldhouse, and then there's Parkview right there as well?
Yeah, I think when you start looking at that area south of the interstate and how we might build that out, you really look for that keystone piece, which is the Fieldhouse, and then what uses are needed to serve that facility and the people that will be at that facility, but then also what other things are necessary. Certainly places to live, places to shop, places to get health services. Those are things as you're starting to build out a mixed-use campus that you anticipate and hope that you'll be able to get in that area. So yeah, this is really starting to put the pieces together of that puzzle out there to provide those services in that area.
And I'm guessing you guys have gotten calls upstairs, those 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of talk with people who want to occupy space in and around the Fieldhouse there, whether it be the shopping or the restaurant. I'm guessing an announcement like this Parkview Health expansion into our community is going to hopefully ramp up those discussions and maybe some names being released sometime soon?
Yeah, I think we've started to see some preliminary site plans for some of the outlots in front of the field house. And so certainly the urgency for those uses when you've got something like a Parkview hospital under construction definitely heightens that. So yeah, I fully expect within the next few months, there will be at least 1, if not 2 projects that get submitted that we'll be able to announce those users and be great uses that will provide services to people that are coming out to the field house that aren't there right now. So yeah, definitely going to start seeing those roll out over the next few months.
Yeah, and again, stealing a line from Andy Card in previous episodes, if you build it, they'll come. And he talked about 60,000 or so people kind of going through the turnstiles there per month, and we have the data to show that it's about that.
Yeah.
And so places to eat, like shop, like you said, super important. Everybody, we're talking with Ben Bontrager. He's our City of Lebanon Planning Director, and he's here on episode 227 of our Love in Lebanon podcast. And so if the Parkview Health expansion, that $150 million investment, wasn't enough, but let's talk about Meta and that project kind of taking the next steps as well, which not only, adds quite a bit of acreage or facilities in the LEAP district, but also the realignment of State Road 32. Mm-hmm. That process moving forward, getting the green light and favorable recommendation from the office, and seems like it checked the boxes for you guys to move it forward.
Yeah. Obviously, it's been a number of months that we've been reviewing this. This wasn't something that we just spent the last few weeks.
You just didn't get what they wanted,
boxes.
Like the naysayers.
No, we've spent a lot of time reviewing this, making sure that they meet all of the standards. In fact, they had to make some pretty significant changes to their site plan and layout to make sure that they could meet those standards. That required basically moving a transmission line to a different location on the property and getting back with the utility company to make sure that that could happen. So some pretty significant things that we've spent a number of months reviewing it, and we wanted to ensure, one, that it met all of the standards of the LEAP district, which they're very significant, and two, that we're also as much as possible protecting the people that want to remain out in that area. So proper buffering and landscaping and things like that. And so, yes, we've spent a number of months massaging this and getting it to the right point. But yes, at this point, they do have their development plan approved by the Plan Commission. They're getting some decisions from the council here, hopefully within the next few weeks, on some of the old gravel county roads that will need to be closed that run through their site. And as you suggested, State Road 32 does need to be reconstructed and relocated, one, to accommodate their site, but also to accommodate the traffic that's anticipated in this area. So there's a lot of complex things that are all happening all at the same time. But again, they're all starting to fit right in the right places, and schedules are being met and those sorts of things. So,
and if you drive along State Road 32, you know that the big overarching kind of curve that takes place there, this realignment, I mean, if it weren't the Foundry and if it weren't Meta, this is beneficial anyway. It seems like that whole curve and all that thing kind of realigning that really would help with traffic alignment anyway, even if it weren't for these humongous investments out there.
Yeah, I think at some point there were going to need to be improvements to State Road 32. It is a primary corridor between 65 and 74, so there's a lot of traffic out there already. So there were improvements that were already contemplated, but certainly this elevates the need for that to happen in a timely fashion, so we can accommodate construction traffic and employee traffic and those sorts of things that are happening out in that area.
And we've talked Parkview and kind of the Fieldhouse area, and this is Meta as well. And I'm going to talk some neighborhoods just a second, everybody. But just to kind of educate people, you talk about massaging things and kind of working with these companies. The misconception is they come in, they open up their wallets, they either pay under the table or say we're going to do this and go over and above kind of the investment they talk about, and then that there's just kind of a yes, go ahead and do that. What happens with a lot of these developments? You talked about the neighbors and want to being aware of their feelings and cognizant of that. That is a significant part of your job, right? It's not we want to build this. Yes, go ahead, do it the way you want to. They have to fit in the box that Lebanon has as far as city standards are concerned, and being able to have something that kind of fits kind of the fabric of our community as well.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at that. Certainly when we did the planning for the LEAP district in concert with our partners, a big part of that effort was making sure we established appropriate standards for the development to ensure that we were protecting the investments in our community, whether that would be new investments or investments that were already made. So that was a huge part of that, and certainly part of my responsibility was making sure those standards were set at a high bar so that we were protecting those things. And now my responsibility is, now that we've set that bar high, that everybody that comes in has to meet those standards. One, to make sure that it looks the way we want it to look and fits within the community, but also, again, just reemphasizing we're trying to protect as much as possible other investments that have been made in that area, so that everything fits together. Is it a big change? Certainly it is. Yeah, this is certainly growth happening in Lebanon that I would almost say is historic from that perspective. That we haven't really seen. Certainly, $19 billion between three different projects is historic no matter where it goes. But we're making sure that it's done the right way and fits within the fabric of the community.
Yeah, and I think one of the payoffs with that is so many more people wanting to live here. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, a natural progression is the ripple effect from the Circle City all the way up, toward Whitestown and us, obviously, and we're getting into that ripple. That was going to happen organically anyway. But you talked about the city standards and having things that people want to be around and being able to add things that and keep in line with standards that the people want to be associated with as well. A number of different neighborhoods now that the water discussion has been, as the water piping from citizens kind of heads our way and utilities working with them on that, those standards kind of being massaged and being able to kind of open the floodgates, if you will, another pun, everybody, for those neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's maybe a tiny stream, maybe not floodgates yet, but yeah, no, we've been able to, some of the projects that were already in the pipeline, residential projects, been able to release them to begin construction on some additional single family neighborhoods to provide some additional options for people that already live here to be able to move up. But then also, like you suggested, those people that are going to make the decision to move here because of a job or something like that. So definitely providing multiple different types of options for those people, whether it's a first-time home buyer, somebody looking to move up. We want to make sure that we have options here for people, no matter where they are in life, that there will be something here that works for them. So yeah, definitely a number of projects that are getting started, and there will be a number of additional ones as you go into 2026 that will be coming online as well.
And to your point, Sunbrook and Sunbrook Villas comes to mind because those were kind of either the getting started or, wanting to kind of have a chance to level up your home experience, or if you're wanting to downsize and be able to do that. Both of those neighborhoods are now built out and more or less all occupied. If you can kind of update some of the ones, and we kind of jotted down Corbett Towns and Liberty Village and Angeli Gardens, some of those are really starting to gain some traction and having some, not just dirt and earth being moved, but some structures coming out of the ground. And Angeli Gardens is one of the ones that really sticks out to me.
Yeah, Angeli Gardens, I would call that a move-up product for families that are getting bigger, need more space, and they're seeing a lot of success out there, a lot of demand for their product. In fact, I think more so than they originally had envisioned. So they're ready to start Section 2 before long too. So yeah, they're definitely underway. There's homes that are under construction for buyers, and then following not far behind them, Liberty Village and Corbett Towns. I would say Liberty Village is probably a first-time home buyer, maybe first move-up product. Corbett Towns kind of fits a different, some of that missing middle housing. That will be townhomes that you don't see a lot of anymore. That kind of fit some of those product types you don't see a lot of anymore, but that really do fit a need. So those are all having earth move. So we'll start seeing some structures, maybe starting going vertical, maybe later this year and certainly into next year. So again, providing a type of housing we don't have a lot of in Lebanon right now. That's definitely a need. And
if people want to know more about this whole kind of residential experience, liken it and go back to the housing study that was done by the planning office, and it kind of laid out that Lebanon really needs to add some more inventory, and it seems like this is just kind of going along that blueprint, that game plan towards success.
Yeah, it's certainly as you start looking at how a healthy community over time as it grows, certainly the residential portion of that and having a variety of options is a really key need. So the housing study really started laying that out for us. Of course, I started thinking that's probably 7 or 8 years ago we did that, and a lot has changed since then. But even more recently, Boone County did a housing study just about a year and a half ago, looking at what the needs are in the county, and then also looking at the influence of the LEAP district and how that changes or increases that need. And so that's certainly something we're looking at. And I think the key thing is there's not one certain type of product that we need, because not everybody has the same type of needs from a housing perspective. So we need to make sure that we're encouraging creativity and uniqueness in product types, so that we're fitting all of those different needs and not just trying to fit every neighborhood or every product into one box. We need to make sure we've got things for everybody.
It's like, different colors in the old Crayola box. It's something for everyone, that their favorite colors and what they want to, color with. There's something for everyone there.
Yeah. I think the big thing is the dynamic of the quote unquote family is changing. You've got your traditional family with 2 parents and 2 or 3 kids, and they're looking for a certain type of product, but maybe you've got a single parent household that's looking for a different type of product, or you've got a new family moving to town that's not ready to invest in a purchase, but they might need to rent something. So just looking to try to meet people where they're at in their life and making sure that we have a product type and an experience for them that fits their need.
And one thing that we'll hear is, is there enough water? What about the water? These are all developments that have gotten the okay that there's plenty of that water capacity to help make that happen, and it's not something that has to wait on citizens to get here?
Correct. Yeah. Lebanon Utilities completed a reassessment of their system. They kind of do it ongoing, about once a quarter, looking at, basically what they projected a project might use versus what they're actually using. And they've discovered that they do have some room in the system to be able to release some of these projects to start construction that we see happening right now, like the Liberty Villages and the Corbett Towns. They've been released to start construction. So yes, we've been able to release some, and then we got others that we've got in the pipeline that will maybe release next spring that would then use that first phase of water coming from citizens in 2027.
Yeah, that was my next question. What developments are out there that are kind of on the tarmac, so to speak, kind of waiting to go ahead and go for launch? You guys have them aligned and ready to go once things move along, and hearing some continued positivity from citizens and Lebanon Utilities.
Yeah. At this point, that project is on schedule to meet that timeline of January 2027. So we essentially are working with project, looking at their construction schedules and releasing them on a timeline that they can meet that schedule for the water. So we've got a number of other different housing product types. Some of them might be apartments for rent. Some of them might be homes for construction and for sale. And so we've got a number of those that, like you said, we've got them readying on the tarmac to start construction sometime next year in anticipation of that water in 27.
Yeah, we've kind of gone hot and heavy here, and we've kind of hit a number of different boxes that we've checked here. We appreciate you doing that. If people want to learn more, and I'll put the link to the planning office that has all the plans for Meta that have been released and approved, and the announcement obviously with Parkview. But if people want to see these plans, or if they have a question that they have about what's going on from a planning perspective, engineering upstairs in the municipal building behind Hardee's along Meridian Street, they can just walk in and do that right off the street if they have questions and talk to the folks up there?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're public office. We're essentially an open book. So, if anybody has any curiosities, they feel free to stop by. If they want to call us, we can send stuff to them. Any information we have that we're able to share. So, we want to make sure people are informed and they're not surprised by something. So we do get information out there, but also if somebody wants to reach out to us with a question or curiosity about something they're seeing happening, please do so. We're always available.
So I'll put your home address and phone number. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, Ben, thanks for your perspective and being able to kind of educate us and talk a little bit more about these developments, Meta and Parkview and the neighborhoods and Fieldhouse stuff. It's a lot. There's a lot on your plate up there.
There is a lot. I think it's good. I think over time it's going to create a healthy community, and we're able to manage the construction and the growth that's happening, and make sure that our services meet the needs of our existing residents in the community, but also providing services that'll meet the needs of future residents in the community as well. So it's a good time to be here. There's a lot of great things happening.
Ben, I appreciate you being here on episode 227 of our podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening this time around. More episodes are coming your way. Take care.